All right, guys. We're back, and we're gonna finish that discussion. Go ahead, Mo.
So basically, when I learned about the businesses is explaining black-owned businesses, we have to understand that black-owned businesses are being charged more for their products because it's not enough of us to back one another up to buy in bulk, buy and supply and demand to back one another up. So once we do that, we're an individual business. I own a business.
Mm-hmm.
But when I hear people say, well, I'm going to give you a chance, we go to other businesses and we can get done wrong, but we'll give them multiple chances,
Right.
back after back. But when it comes to us, you get one chance to
One
mess
chance.
up.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't want to deal with no iggas, no this,
Yeah.
no this,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's sad. We're slave. We're paid slaves in modern society.
We always have been. We're not too far from the slave era. Look at what's
No.
going on around us. We're not too far from it. Look at what's about to happen now. It's
Yeah.
getting worse. It's going to be a whole lot worse in
Yeah.
the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Don't fool yourself, folks. Old school. I don't lie. I tell you like it is. Just look at what's going on today. DEI, disbanding the Board of Education. Board of Education. All things that, well, not all, but majority of things that were here to help us as a minority. All those things excuse me, they're going to come to pass, and they're doing it right now.
Long as we still have the ones who feel like, well, you know what, I'm still gonna buy what I buy. Forget them. I got to take care of my household. Long as we don't stand together as a fist and we got one pinky out, it'll never be solid.
Well, and I have to say, talk about that. All we have to do is look back at the bus boycott back in my era, back in the '60s. Well, we just shut down the transportation system completely.
Mm.
And what happened? They gave in.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to need to do that all over again to get this back on track, if we can get it back on track. In life, you should have priorities, and it seems like in our community, our major priority is money, and that's wrong. That's why we're not thriving as much as we should. Just as you stated earlier, we don't back each other at all,
We don't.
at all.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting good things because we work hard and bust our tail for it. But the deal is that we will sell out one another for money.
Well, not only that, look what we do when we do have money. We go out and we buy all this nonsense. We gotta buy a Cadillac instead of buying that Chevy or that Toyota that's gonna last 100,000 to 500,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because staff. Oh, I'm riding around in my Bentley. I'm riding around in my Cadillac. We got to put all this nonsense jewelry and all this crap on. We got to have the finest clothes. What you're doing, you're putting money in other people's pockets. We got to have this particular car that everybody seems to, electric car that everybody seems to be crazy about nowadays, and then they're finding out what the real truth is about. That's the stuff that we have to look at. Why do we do this stuff? Why are you spending your last dime going to a sporting event where it benefits you none, where you can sit at home at television and watch the same darn thing on your own television that you're paying monthly subscription to? Tell me, what sense does that make? And then we cry because we can't pay the rent next month.
Right. And I think coming from where I'm at in my generation coming up is that we felt like we've been withheld from things and we need to. I've splurged on some things, not to be flashy, but to, I guess, from working hard from what I want. So let's not get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with you want something good.
Let me just add a little bit more to that. I'm not talking about going out and having a good time every so often.
Right.
I'm talking about the person that goes out and they have a good time all the time. And then they come home and they say, I should have said this up front, because I don't want to offend anyone out there.
No.
But I have seen people that go and they spend their last dollar going to a sporting event and know darn well next week I got to pay the rent.
That right there.
That makes absolutely no sense. Or you, as I stated before, you go out and you buy that expensive car where you have 287 months to pay for it at $600 a month, and that's on TikTok. I definitely haven't figured that one out, if it's true or not. But that's what calculators are for. That's
For
where
example.
common sense comes in at.
Right.
You don't go for what a person tells you. He can throw out any kind of number out there at you, and oh, that's a pretty shiny car. Let me go ahead and buy that. But it's financed for 287 months. How much sense does that make?
I don't know if I told you. Did I remember? This brought me back a few when I told you I was about to get the vet.
Yeah.
And I was buying the 2024 vet and went to the dealership. He was like, "Hey, man, I usually buy my vehicles from them." And he said, "Well, get this vehicle." He said, "You can get the vet." I was signing, walking up with it, and I remember talking to Jay about it. Jen and Jay. Jay, I call her Jen Jay. So I talking to some, she said, "You gonna walk out?" I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." So my salesman sat down with me. I'm getting ready to walk out with a vet, and here I am talking to a friend of mine. She's like, "Well, you want to buy a house? You want to buy some land? You want to do this and do that? You already got a truck that's $100,000.
Yeah.
A little over $100,000. Now you're about to get a vet. Now you're over close to $250,000.
Yeah, on cars.
With cars.
Yeah.
In the drop, just 2 vehicles.
Yeah, 2 vehicles.
And unfortunately, I have a few more, but here it is. So I'm finishing up thinking about it, and I said, okay, let me walk up out of here for a minute. So I said, no, man, I got it, got it. Finishing with Brian. He's in me the picture. He said, I'm going to throw some rims on there when I first turned it down. So then he put the black Corvette rims on it. Now I got to tell this short story. So then I got the pictures on it, and then he said, man, that's nice. I said, okay, I'm going to come pick it up. So went in there, and then I said, no, called a friend. She said, I thought you wanted to buy land. She said, your income to debt ratio, you already know is going to exceed what you want.
Right.
She said, just those 2 vehicles. You have a motorcycle, you have a slingshot, you got this, you got that.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. I called. The manager said, well, don't worry about that. We got you. Not realizing they was offering me a check on more money on top of that. Well, if I was so flashy and ignorant to the knowledge and the fact and didn't have someone in my ear, here I would have got that vet that I would have been purchasing $25,000 over.
Right. On a markup.
On a markup. Yeah. Now you're talking about Gap ain't gonna cover all that. You're talking about, so here it is, I'm riding around shining for what? Just for a vet to ride on the weekend?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, not learning properly, trying to shine.
That's right.
Now, could I afford it? I maybe would have got it, but it would have been a wise decision. So I left that, went and got a less expensive car.
Well, in my previous video, I talked about Dodge truck. I have that 2018 Dodge Ram down in the garage now. It's 18.
Wow.
And it has right now. It's got about 27,000 miles on it. So when I got a recall on it, and I stated this in one of my other videos, folks. If y'all kindly go to thumb through that, you'll see the Dodge Ram truck. So I went back to the dealership because I had a recall on the truck here a couple of months ago. And while I was there, I said, well, let me just look around the parking lot and see what these trucks look like. And I ran across a truck that was identical to the truck that I have, that 2018.
Wow.
When I bought that 2018, I only paid about $45,000 for it. The new truck, which as I stated was identical, was, I can't remember if I said it was $75,000 or close to $80,000. Nothing changed. The same truck. I made my mind right then and there. That's it for old school. I'm not buying another vehicle. I'm gonna run that son of a gun until the rubber runs off of it. Because it does not make any sense. And let me tell you something else. On top of that, still got my money in my bill in my bank account.
See.
I don't have to worry about anything. And I'm saying that to tell folks out there this. You can do the exact same thing. It's not about all these little trinkets that they're going to wave over your head and all that stuff to get you to buy this, buy that, or whatever. Besides, we don't buy from our own people anyway.
Right.
That's a problem right there within itself. But you don't have to do that. You can make well, I can't say that. I started to say something that would be wrong. But you have to also think about, hey, how am I going to pay this next month? Or how am I going to pay this 2 months from now? If I have an $800, $900 monthly truck note or car note that's now hanging over my head. That's why you're seeing so many repos. By the truckload.
by the truckload. And I think today's time, as men my age, unfortunately, you feel like if you don't have nothing, you can't pull that dime piece.
You don't
or
have to
something
flash it out there in front of who. I mean, who's going to benefit from it? I'm running down the street and look, I got a brand new Escalade here. Okay, so
Yeah.
I got a brand new Camry here too.
Yeah.
Whose car is it better? I think that Camry might be because it's going to last a whole lot
It's
longer.
gonna
And
last
all
longer.
the electronics you got on that darn big elephant down there. Because you're paying $2,000 a month on.
It's sad because I think that even with guys my age, you're trying to, not saying me, but you're trying to impress.
Who are you trying to impress?
These guys, I mean, they're
No,
trying to
no.
impress.
Who are you trying to impress?
Not me. They're trying to impress the ladies.
And who else? Society as a whole.
Society as a whole.
You drive down the road. I mean, it used to be back in my day. Hey, you had that old 57 Chevy, you ride down the road, got both windows rolled down because you don't have air conditioning in it, and you're waving at your friends as you go by the high school. That's one thing. But nowadays, who you going to wave at? There's nobody standing around looking, oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
$150,000, $200,000 for that?
Yeah.
$3,000 a month car note?
Yeah.
Or 287 months?
They're right there.
Take a calculator and figure out how much that's going to come out to.
They're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there. So
Our mindset, the way we think, is just totally backwards.
I think so. I think that is in our community, as me talking to some of the guys that I'm cool with and some of the people, I think that as quote unquote, as it was told to me, is that we've been held back for so many years. We don't want to be denied anything, so they want to shine.
But there has to be limits on that. If you can afford it, is one thing. If you can pay all these your other bills for the entire month, and that one car doesn't hurt you, that's no problem with that. But if you know if I went out and bought that Escalade and I'm paying $2,000 a month, something's got to give. Whether it's going to be my rent or food for the baby or whatever, there's a problem.
You just brought up a thought. You're right. Because I remember as a child, and you brought up Cadillac.
Well, Cadillac used to be the black man's car.
That was the black man's car.
Oh, yeah, that's why I keep bringing that one up.
When we were children, and even when we watch y'all come around, you could tell when somebody had a good job or came across some money or hit the lottery.
Right.
What was the first thing they go buy?
Go buy that Cadillac.
They go buy a Cadillac.
Not a Chevy.
Not a Chevy.
Not a Dodge.
Not a Mercedes.
No, not a Mercedes. Not a Lincoln or none of that nonsense. It was a Cadillac.
It was a Cadillac.
That's right.
So in our community and in society, once we got that, I remember my uncles and my cousins who I called uncles. I remember them coming around and they'll pull up in the driveway and got their little cool miles and their little menthols and pulling up. And
Don't forget about the dice hanging behind the
the dice.
Oh yeah, I had. Hey, I'm telling my age, but I had a set of those dice.
Right.
Yeah.
So they'll pull up in the driveway and I watch my aunts and cousins and mom come out. Ooh, look at that caddy.
Oh yeah.
So as a child, it was minimum. I had education, talks about education. But as a child, I'm looking like, ooh, look at that. So I'm looking at what the ladies like, what my family like, what is being really looked at and highlighted. And like, okay. So I see, not all of us, some of us, because I had certain ones in my head, that, okay, is this the way to live life? This is the way you got to feel like somebody.
Right.
And I think our society just pushed. And here it is, they perpetuated success as by materialistic gain.
Right.
So when we saw that, the Cadillac, the shiny suits, and here it is, you got 2 or 3 women on the side of you, and all this and all of that, we thought
You sound
that
like
was
old
way
school
life.
now. I'm just joking, folks.
But we
in a way,
saw,
I'm joking.
yeah, the way. So we saw that, and we was like, okay, here it is, we're seeing this. And we're like, okay, this is making it. When technically, you were still living check by check and poor.
Oh yeah. But everybody else didn't know that.
Everybody else didn't know that.
Why do you think marriages broke up so fast? Because here you are, you paying off. Well, back then, a $300 or $400 car note was like a $2,000 or $3,000 car note today.
Pretty much.
And that Cadillac may have broken up a lot of families. because you're trying to get your status way up here where you know you can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the part that was, oh boy, do I remember those days quite well. Quite well. And basically, we're doing the same thing all over again, but at a higher cost.
At a higher cost.
At a higher cost.
That's why with my children, I try to push education more than anything because that's what we needed. But you got to have the right partner.
True.
That's another topic. You got to have the right
That's
partner
yep.
to. Women have a profound effect on children.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that they're to blame of all negativity, but it's a profound effect on are they going to listen to dad or mom? Majority mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing wrong with that, but it's to a certain perspective because in our families, the men wouldn't. If they was leaders, they couldn't be leaders.
Right.
And that's our problem. It was all about materialistic things and the feel good. What makes us feel good? Materialistic things. What make us feel good? Being seen. So that's how I think we're losing more of our community on it. Here it comes, bears down again. It's about money. And we sell out one another. We sell ourselves out. And it's a disappointing thing because it falls on taking care of family in a whole 9 yards.
Well, it's that and the fact that we listen, as I stated at the initial startup of this, we listen to the wrong people. We listen to people on television. We listen to these actors. We listen to these rap stars. We listen to people that are already wealthy. We listen to these podcasters who's feeding you a bunch of crap out there, and we don't think twice about, oh, well, you need to go ahead and do this, or you need to go ahead and leave him, or you need to go ahead and leave her, or he's cheating, or she's cheating. All this nonsense is going on because you are not strong enough to make your own decisions on what you want to do in your life. You have to have someone else tell you what you should be doing.
Right.
And that's wrong. That's right. I don't listen. The only person I listen to is the Almighty Himself. That's the only person. When it comes to men, you can forget that. I'll be entertained by you.
That's it.
But I don't have to listen to you, and I'm not going to listen to you, especially if it's wrong, and I know it's wrong.
I agree.
So that's one of our greatest weaknesses in the black community. That's why we're in so much debt today. That's why we do things that we have no business doing. That's why we vote for people that we shouldn't be voting for. Why? Because we think, oh yeah, that's the right thing to do. But you haven't done no research on your own. You haven't done your own homework like you do in high school or elementary school or whatever. You've done none of that. But you'll listen to somebody else say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this because, hey, this is the right thing to do. I'm going to buy this because, hey, Junior got one. I need to have one too. And oh darn well you can't afford that.
True. That's why I think it's important to get around family despite our differences. I was taught you learn from the drunk and you learn from the educated.
Mm-hmm.
You learn from them all. And I'm going to continue that way. I'm going to continue teaching that way. I'm going to continue ones follow me, looking at me, under me that way because you learn from all. You say, well, I don't want to see. No, see what they're doing. Observe, I might say.
Right.
And learn what to do and what not to do to get to that point. Because it's a survival of the game. There's nothing new up under the sun.
No, there's not.
And until we learn that, we're going to keep repeating. Right now, we're about to go into a history repeating itself again. We're about to drop back into the 50s and 60s again.
Oh, without like I say, you're talking to a person who lived in that era. And I see the exact parallel of what happened then and to what's going on now. Jim Crow and all that stuff has resurfaced. And it's going to be here to stay for at least the next 4 to 8 years or better. So people buckle up, prepare yourself because it's going to be a bumpy ride. On a lot of my podcasts, you see old school breaking out the popcorn. That's not to say I'm not going to suffer. I'm going to suffer too. I'm just like everybody else behind y'all's decision, not mine, but y'all. So hey, you're gonna take the whole full brunt of this. Mm-hmm. Although I'm gonna have to accept most of the problem with it that's coming about. But I want to thank my friend here, Mo, for coming over and sharing a lot of wisdom. And if you folks want Mo to come back and I'll sit down along with my daughter who's over there napping. Oh, Jen, I know y'all remember Jennifer. She's over there, dead asleep right now. Bless her heart. But if y'all want to hear more of this, put it in the comments down there, and we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it, and just give me some comments on what you guys want to talk about. And hey, we got old schools here. I'm a lot older than than Mo is, but we're going to talk about it.
And if I can, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Also, we're going to bring up more topics and things like this. I'm going to invite him on mine at Poetry Pit Talk and learn more from him on how to do it and increase it. So repeat yours again, just because I'm going to put this on mine so they'll know exactly who you are to follow you.
Oh, I'm Old School Will. Well, my topic is Old School Will Life Discussions. Wait a minute. I am getting old. I can't even remember old Old School Life Discussions with Will. Boy, I tell you, I'm really getting old here.
You good, still young enough. And this is Poetry Pit Talk, and I'm really enjoying this time. Like I said, it's a lot of touch bases. We're just barely scratching it. I want to learn, and please just don't watch it. Push a like. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know the topics that you want to talk about, because here it is. You got people that's my age trying to talk to Will, like our parents' age, and try to learn more. Let's not just stop here. We don't have to talk about what black men and black women just doing wrong, even though we're going to get on some of those topics, but not to war with one another. Just point the finger, because remember, point one finger, you still got 4 or 3 more. You got 3 more pointing back at you. So let's learn. I'm here to learn. I'm here to take it on and learn more how he did his podcast, learn more of the knowledge that he experienced of how we growing up, on what we can learn from our parents. Sit down and talk with them. We're not promised today.
No.
I'm very elated and happy to be able to sit down with him and learn from him. He hears from me and I hear from him, and we both learn from the situation. So just don't like it. I mean, like, subscribe, push that button, and let us hear from it. Come on, let's build our community up, because right now, by sitting back there and envy, I'm not pushing this and doing this. And it's not about money. It's about learning one another, building one another, because it's going to be a time we're going to need one another.
Right.
And the time is now.
Right. So as my friend Mo has just spoken, hey, that's what we're here for. We're going to try to spread the word the best we can for those that want to listen, because we're, as I stated before, we're in for a bumpy ride, folks. I'm not gonna deny that whatsoever, because I'm a news freak. I'm watching news every day, and I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like it at all. But with all that being said, this is Old School Will and
Poetry from Pit Talk.
Saying, hey, we appreciate you guys, and may God bless each and every one of you, and try your best to keep your sanity.
Later.
All right, guys. If you made it this far to the end, I just want to take time to thank each and every one of you for listening to myself and my friend Mo there. We had so much to talk about, so we decided that we were just going to do what was natural, speak from the heart and what was on our minds. I have to admit that it was intense, and I'd say that because it made me reflect on how things were when I came up as a kid, and how I'm seeing history repeating itself. If you like these kind of topics and these kind of interviews, I'm just asking that you comment so that I will know and Mo will know and other friends will know what we need to talk about. This is not just a black issue. This is a human issue. Because I know a lot of the things that we discuss, other cultures can relate to it. Yes, they can. We, as the generation of old school, need to start speaking up more. Because one thing I want to leave behind, one thing I want to leave you, our generation was somewhat the foundation of things that are happening today. And unfortunately, our generation is passing on that wisdom, that knowledge is passing on. We're expiring every day. So what's going to be left behind? That's why when I look into the future, I don't see anything promising. We need to start reaching out to those that are reaching the end of the road, so to speak, and start asking those very, very important questions. Paw, tell me how things were when you came up. Grandma, tell me how things were. Because we're not saying the same thing today. With all that being said, this is Old School Will thanking you, and may God bless each and every one of you.